Okay, I'm calling this meeting to order. You guys can keep talking amongst yourself if you want to. South Kingstown School Building Committee meeting Thursday, October 16th, called to order at 6:04. Sorry, I'm using my phone for the agenda. So we're going to open the meeting and with a roll call. Terry Lynch.
Here.
Liam Lynch. Is that a here?
Here.
Here. Brian Sylvia.
Here.
Dave Palazetti.
Here.
Michael Pedraza.
Here.
Kate Massandy, I'm here. Luke Murray. Chip McGarr.
Here.
Bob Littlefield.
Here.
Jim Manning.
Here.
And we have Chris Spiegel at the table from left
Here.
field. We have a full house. This is awesome. We have representatives from Gilbane, Slam, and Studio Jade in the house, maybe? No Studio Jade? Yes, no Studio Jade. That's okay. Oh, thank you. Put my phone away. All right. To my knowledge, to this point, I've not received any public correspondence since our last building committee meeting. So that will bring us to item number 3, a discussion update of the overall new South Kingstown High School project.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to be back. The update I have before you today is going to cross over a few of our agenda items, if that's okay. So I'll get started because I know we've got a lot to cover on the interior. So first slide here is our project schedule. As you can see, the project is currently on schedule. We're wrapping up our final approvals here. I'll have an update on that in a second. And as you can see from from the daily field reports, construction is well underway, and we've begun footings, getting ready for concrete and foundations. So for key milestones, building permit application submissions, our next one on 10/24. 12/15, we're looking at getting all of our best and finals in for the remaining construction packages as part of the guaranteed maximum price. On January 8th, a recommendation to the SBC, and on January 12th, a town council approval of that recommendation. In terms of RIDE milestones, we're looking at a 60% construction document approval at 11/24. We just got some feedback from the Department of Education today for some additional information they want for that 60% CD submission. And then we're looking at 12/5/2025 for Curtis Corner demolition site stabilization approval. We just got, again today, we just got some feedback from the Department of Education for some additional documents. Both of those have already been submitted. They've just come back to us for additional information at this time. In terms of the 4-week look ahead, we continue to do grading on site. Importing structural fill will end at the end of this week. Maggie will be very happy about that. Excavation for site utilities begin next week. We continue to excavate and backfill Area A for foundations, and sleeves will start out next week. So again, prep work for foundations being poured, so site work, excavation, rebar, that sort of thing. Construction activities, here's a drone shot of the site.
So what I'd like to request is going forward, if we could get updated pictures. Justin,
Yep.
he does a really good job with his daily reports. If we can pull updated pictures from those like that.
Yep.
But have if we can remove those drone images until we have updated ones.
Okay,
because
sure.
I'd rather keep it up to date.
Sure. So as you can see on the left, this is excavation, getting ready to form foundations. Middle, same thing, continuing excavation. And then on the right picture, you can see the form work getting set for rebar work, which you'll see on the next, we do have some rebar work that has already started on site. It's in the field report. It did not make it into this presentation, however. In terms of our DEM update, as we expected, the form letter that was sent and was discussed on Monday does not stop any work that we currently have going on. It's only related to the second phase of this work. There will be the typical public notification process where notification is sent out to abutters. We have a series of public meetings. But again, none of this happens this year. It's all going to be happening on the second phase of this project. We will have a remedial action work plan that will be submitted to the Department to RIDEM as well. Again, this is all related to one spot located outside of the wood shop. It is not extensive. We have tracked it. We have found that it does not extend from that spot. We've done testing all around that one spot. It's just located at one spot. We're not very concerned about it at all. In terms of
So Chris, when you say that you're talking about like during the demolition process of the
prior
current
to
building.
demolition, so I'd
Right,
say in
so-
about a year, maybe that public.
So nothing to do with the construction, it's going to be the demolition side. Okay, thank you.
It's all enclosed by concrete right now. It's not soluble in any way. It's not gotten into the groundwater and moved. So we've done all that testing. 1016, we have the SBC recommendation of CDs for CCMS demolition and site stabilization. And it looks like we're not going to be able to have the discussion of the construction delivery method today just because of our short schedule. That's a longer discussion. It's not needed for today. We're looking at 1212, bids due for CCMS demolition and site stabilization. 1218, the SBC recommendation. 112, Town Council. And in July and August of next year, the substantial completion of the demolition and site stabilization over at Curtis Corner. And then that's it for my project update. I kept it brief.
Can you scroll back to the discussion of construction delivery method for design of Curtis Corner athletic fields? Will we get a slight short update on the project in general as far as the scheduling? Did Phil get that to you?
Phil has not submitted that to me yet. However, I can prepare it to give a brief update on it, unless
Jeff Benta from SLAM. Phil,
Jeff, hold on just one second. Just something I wanted to note, Kate, in relation to the drone footage. I was talking to Mark Moore, and so basically our plan is, unless there's any objections here, is that they'll regularly do the drone footage as long as it's outside of school hours.
Oh, yeah.
So that way
Okay,
we're
gotcha.
not having that happen during school hours,
Yep.
but basically they have permission, unless there's any objections, to like do it when it makes sense on there, and that way we can have more updated pictures of that.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that.
So Phil did send me a update on where they are with the schedule in terms of bidding award schedule. So he gave me the following dates. The pre-bid would be December 2nd, 2025. The bid opening would be December 12th, 2025. And then work between February to June of 2026. And then that's for the partial building demolition. Design work for the athletic field would begin January 2026.
Thank you for doing that. I just want to make sure that if anybody's listening, that they understand that we're still moving and making progress in schedule and stuff like that. So I appreciate that information. Does anybody have any? Chris went through pretty quickly, which is the task of the evening, because we have we have a meeting that we're bumping up against, and so I just want to. But does anybody have any questions? I don't want to rush any questions or
So
comments.
Curtis Corner project update, are we waiting for that for number 6, or are they kind of all combined?
So that was combined, because that's really right now the only update that we have. We're this one that was listed as a key milestone, where it says right now 10/16, we're actually going to move that to the next meeting.
Okay. The only tricky thing is when we have our next meeting scheduled in 2 weeks is that Terry and I will not be able to be here because we have a football game. It's a Thursday night football game, so it's tricky because in terms of that. Basically, my two questions, and they can hold until that, are, number one is there any way for us to get that done by that substantial completion by the end of June? Because I know we've talked about with the reimbursements there, we're off by a little bit there. And then the second thing is, I just want to make sure that we've got that, that we have the fields open, earlier or at the same time as the high school, because I think that, again, is, if we don't have that ready to go for fall of 2027, that will upset people. Yep.
I'll make sure that that's on the radar for when Phil talks about and plans the schedule out. I think right now, and Luke, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think our biggest goal right now is to get it out to getting it out to bid piece, and then once we have whoever's going to be doing the work for the demo piece, and then clearly the site piece, that we need to get that done, so then the concrete schedule can fall into place after that.
And I can give a quick update on reimbursement. So it's just substantially complete by June 30th. Architects certify substantial completion, and an inspection is done approximately about a month later. The actual forms for reimbursement aren't due until the second week of July. I believe we'll be able to make that January 30th substantial completion date and be ready for an inspection, which will allow us to submit those forms. February to June 30th is a long time for that work. I think we can do it.
Anybody else have any questions for either the South Kingstown High School update or what we've been talking about for Curtis Corner? All right, then that brings us to item number 4, discussion. This will require an action. We do need to finalize an appointment for the school building committee's change order task force. The town council made their appointment on Monday. It's going to be Mike Marin, which is wonderful because he's been involved with our project from the get-go as well. And so now we just need to have that conversation and appointment at our table.
Without further discussion, I'll nominate Dave Palizzetti to the Change Order Task Force.
Second.
Does anybody have any questions or comments or concerns?
You're welcome.
What I do know is that they made it very clear that a lot of these, and I'm guessing you've been involved with change order committees before, the most important ones are the ones that are urgent and need to be taken care of quickly. Virtual meetings, doing really quick, kind of, let's group and make sure we keep things moving, so. So with that said, we have a motion, we have a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? That passes. Dave Palizzetti, welcome to the Change Order Task Force. Thank you for your service, sir. All right, that brings us to item number 5, discussion update. SLAM is presenting for us physical samples of the interior materials that will be utilized in the high school project.
So Brittany's going to try to share her screen. So last time we were here about a month ago, we showed you a walkthrough video of the interiors of the new spaces that'll be in the new South Kingstown High School. Tonight, we're planning to present the actual physical samples of what's planned to be installed in the high school. So it'll be a little bit of a show and tell, and we understand we're under a time constraint, so we'll try to go as swiftly as possible. It's not connecting.
It's saying that code's invalid. Same video that we shared with you guys the last time. The majority of the video was unchanged. We did extend the video a little bit to include the sensory area that was within the cafeteria that we know was an important element to that space. And then we also did, once we went into the gym, we walked you guys through the fitness center because that was another really important space. So we did develop that, so we can always get you, if it doesn't connect, we can always get you the video after and some still shots of those spaces because those are the ones that have really developed since. So through the rendering, we still have the map graphic as the placeholder for the custom graphics that we will work through with Chip and key staff members. So that's this kind of a thing. This is just an example of one of the graphics. This is the material that it is that Jeff can pass around so you guys can see the durability of it on any outside corners where that's installed. It does have like a stainless steel corner protection, so again, to the durability of the space. In the main entry vestibules and any vestibule on the first floor, we do have the durable walk-off carpet tiles in the school blue. So as soon as you're in the vestibules, you'll see an element of the school colors. And that's meant to get wet, and it extends from the vestibules all the way through the main lobby, so you don't have to worry about any mats or tripping hazards like in that main space where most of everybody's going to be entering. And then throughout the majority of the school, we have the LVT flooring. If you want to hold up the lightest one, Jeff. Nope, that one. So this is the majority of the flooring throughout the school. It will be in a plank size. The samples just came in squares, but it'll be a 6x36 plank. So this is like the neutral that goes throughout the school. There's a bit of a textural pattern to it, again, to help conceal. All of the flooring is no wax, low maintenance. So that's the majority of it, and the other 3 colors that you see down there are the accents. So we have the dark neutral, a lighter blue, and we did use the school blue because the blue is so saturated. We tried to use it in very strategic, accented places, as you saw in the video as we walked through the last time. So you will see that we did a lighter tone just to not have it be so overwhelming in some of the learning spaces. So that's what we tried to build on, and the paint tie into those colors. So again, the school blue paint, a lighter, and then a neutral.
So this is the flooring?
The LVT flooring, yeah. So it's the same as that sample going
Okay.
around, just in the other shades. And they'll all be in the plank 6x36 sizes. Nope, it's a wax-free flooring. And then throughout the school, we did... So you will see the white oak wood tones throughout the school. So all of your doors, we have decorative elements, wood framing elements around the elevators and key spaces in the learning commons and throughout the auditorium. So those are the wood tones and wood veneer ceilings that we have going on throughout the space. Along with the base bid for the building, we have a really durable wall protection throughout the cafeteria and the corridors to about 7'2", which is the door height. So if you feel that, it's even thicker than the other wall covering that we passed around earlier. So it's meant to be impact resistant, tamper proof. If anybody tried to pick at it, it's actually going to like dig under your fingernail and you're not going to be able to do so. So that's the base bid. We do have an alternate for wall tile in the bid, so you'll see that when all the pricing comes back, just to make you aware of that would be the base bid. And then we have, a neutral wall tile as the alternate throughout the common areas, throughout the space. Then some of the decorative elements.
Can I ask a question on that? Because I know,
Yep.
didn't Ride have an issue with not using the tile, or they wanted tile, or?
So yes, this is a product that they've recently approved, though. However, in a different district that we're using this product because it's a much cheaper product. It's much less labor intensive. So what they were concerned with was no protection as opposed to having some protection. Oh, I had just gotten it. Do you have it now? It says it's in busy now.
It's popping up like it should work.
Okay. I forgot that the website has one. You can just click on the website, yeah? Because it was
There we
taking me
go.
forever to download it.
Okay. Okay, so
Brittany, as far as an adult, like the tile, like how much of a cost difference is that? Would be just out of curiosity, as an ad alternate.
So the cost difference is probably, I would say, I honestly don't know the delta between the two. It depends. So that wall protection is a pretty high grade, so it would be the delta on the install. Material-wise, they're about the same, but the tile install could be higher than...
So it's an installation.
It's an installation, yeah. Material-wise, they're pretty comparable. Because we didn't want to pick a super expensive tile because obviously we know that that was the hope from the school is to get the tile. So we tried to keep that pretty cost effective while still having the aesthetic look that we all would want for the space. So it would be an install. So when the bids come back, we'll know better the delta between those.
Tile go?
So that would be the ad alternate like throughout the cafeteria and the main common areas of the common corridors to be abuse resistant. So again, we have the wall protection in there, but if we also have the tile option. Then we, near the elevators, we have a wood wrap that really decorates it. And we have a decorative tile on the elevators. So it's this one, it has a bit of a texture to it that you see more in person than you do in the renderings. So it's installed in a herringbone pattern. And then at those elevators, there is floor levels in a blue acrylic that would go in front of this. So you'd have a 1, 2, and 3 for the floor levels in the school blue at those elevators, since that's a pretty prominent moment before entering the classroom towers. So that would be represented through there. We know another big item that was very important to the schools is the open bathrooms that's in the learning towers. So those have very durable materials. We have epoxy flooring in there. So it's the epoxy flooring, so there's no grout, no anything. It's an integral base right up the wall. We do have the wall tile as the base bit in there, the neutral color. So all the walls have tile. Behind the sink, which is solid surface countertops, we do have a decorative wall tile behind the sinks. Again, we wanted this to be a feature. We didn't want it to be, a back of house bathroom that's very exposed. So we have that. The school blue is represented in the bathroom as well. It's wrapping up around the sink area. And then the toilet partitions are also, a wood tone in the front. So it keeps the bathrooms being warmer and less cold. This is the epoxy. So for the bathrooms, and then throughout the spaces, you'll see, classrooms have your standard ACT, but throughout the corridors, the cafeteria, there are acoustic baffles as well as the shapes. So with all the materials here, you'll see the wall coverings, some of the ceiling shapes. Yep, so if you want to pause there, Chris. Yeah, you should be able to. If you want to go back a little bit. Yeah, so those are the baffles that I was referring to. And if you can go back just a touch to show the sensory space in the CAF. Yeah, it's in the back there. So as you can see, we did the elements of the school blue. The logo is represented throughout the space. This is that sensory area. So there's a low wall with the wall protection and/or wall tile on it, so it'll be durable. And then there's a mix of seating. There's a countertop built into the side. And again, the furniture we'll take a closer look with. We did the initial meetings, but we can meet on furniture and really define that area later on. So that's kind of how we define that space right there. You can see the media center box with the wood elements coming in and the blue being underneath. And then, you can probably speed forward to get to through the gym and the fitness center. So all the admin spaces have touches of the wood LVT flooring to keep that kind of warmer in the admin suite. So this is the fitness center if you want to pause. Yeah, so in here we have a rubber tiled flooring, so impact resistant for when they're dropping weights on it. And then we do have the artificial turf zone for the sled push over there. We did do wall padding along that wall in case kids go awry with the sled push. We have the wall mirrors, the chevron shapes. Again, that's reminiscent of the architecture of the building. Near construction tech, where that's built out, there's a chevron shape. The classroom tower has a chevron. So those panels, you see them in the ceiling sometimes, but then these are also acoustic wall panels here. And then we have the South Kingstown logo through the gym. You can speed forward if you want. And then the auditorium finishes, all the auditorium is all very dark finishes, a dark carpet, dark wall protection. So they also have the wall protection along the seats so no one's picking at it, damaging the walls as they're in the performances. All dark ACT in there. The seating, again, will be the oak wood tones. For the upholstered auditorium seats, we have about a 50-50 mix between a black and a blue, so it's not overwhelmingly blue when you're in the space. So that's all the wood tones throughout there. It's a slatted wood product, and then there's also, recessed LED light strips through there. And all of the deck and the structure will be painted black in there. There won't be any of that white.
The blue that's in the hallways, that at least on the video, that looks like a bright pop of blue, is that represented here anywhere? Thank you.
So it's these two blues. So again, this is the school blue that we took from the Pantone colors that we were provided, and this is like the more muted one, because again, when you use this on the floor walls and the ceiling, it becomes very dark and heavy. So we wanted to use it very strategically with the labeling and in certain spaces where there was enough light that it wouldn't be overwhelming. So like right there, that would be this blue, yeah. Yep.
So just a question on the wood tone.
Yeah.
So it's a compressed core product, right? It's a particle board for interior, right? What happens if that gets damaged or somebody writes on it? Like with painted panels, you can paint it, right? And I don't know the answer to this question. I'm just asking, like, it's likely to sustain damage over the next 50. Can you replace a panel? How do you patch it? How do you repair
So
it?
for the wood products, it is a panelized system, so they are very durable. We have used it in many schools before, but it is a panelized system if you ever did really have to. They kind of just Z-clip onto the wall, so it's just kind of like an up and down motion, but not easy enough where students could dismantle it. And there's metal trim pieces in there too, so nothing's really an exposed edge of wood. There is metal trim to it, so it's a durable product.
Can we
And
just
then-
make sure when we're putting together the O&M manual that we double check to see if that, just in case the school department needs to put a panel itself so it's well documented in the
Absolutely.
operations
Yep.
and maintenance
And then if you
manual?
want to, so then this carpet that you're seeing in the media center, so the only place that we really have carpet is, if you want to hold up that Flotex carpet and pass it around. So we know that asthma, allergy, stain, durability is a huge concern. So this carpet is only used in the media center for acoustic purposes. When we did show Chip prior to putting it in the building. So this is a new product where any water or anything is going to sit on top and just bead up as if it's a hard surface to be able to like just damp mop it up. And again, asthma, allergy friendly, stain resistant, same install as your carpet, as your LVTs. So that is durable in there as well. And yeah, in the media center, you saw that acoustic panels in there. This is the tile that also wraps the media center like it does the elevators. And then there's the art room, which you guys have seen before. So those are the materials throughout. Yeah, so that's the elevator wrap that you see, and then the bathrooms that you did see before, but those are the materials, and has the Papa Blue in there as well.
Are those hard ceilings in the classrooms, or are they acoustic tile?
Acoustic ceiling tiles in the classrooms, yep.
It just looks hard.
Yeah, sometimes the pattern kind of disappears, but yep, acoustics in there.
Okay.
That's probably,
Could I ask a question about the,
yes.
there's going to be more floor space with the LVT than anything else,
The LVT
right?
is the majority of the school, yes.
Could you talk a little bit more about the regular maintenance of that surface?
It's just a damp mop product. There's no waxing, no stripping, no buffing, so just, clean sweep on a regular basis, like day to day, and then a damp mop is, the deeper clean, but there won't be any big summer turnaround of needing to wax.
But again, with any product, you should let people know, please don't drag sharp furniture across it, just typical.
Yeah, if you need a
typical-
file cabinet moved, have maintenance do it. You really don't want staff doing that anyway, but yeah, if you drag anything heavy enough, there will be, with any flooring, there will be a problem, but.
What I would point out then is that not only is this school significantly smaller in square footage than our existing school, but there's going to be tremendous savings in time that is dedicated toward maintaining the floors throughout our existing school.
Correct, yes. Yes, and it's more eco-friendly too to not have to be doing that.
In terms of current usage nowadays, though, where we're going with in all of these, we've got module furniture, whether it be in the labs and to really be an adaptable space. So having that type of wear and tear, is that?
That's normal. So any of the desks or tables that are meant to be moved will specify specific glides for those furniture, or either if for heavier pieces, typically it'll have wheels with locking casters. So all of those pieces that are meant to be flexible and moved around are made for that. It's more like your file cabinets, a big storage cabinet, things like that you don't want staff just moving those around.
Okay.
Even the bookcases in the classrooms tend to have concealed wheels, so we can make sure we specify all of that during our furniture process.
Prior to occupancy, we'll have literature, we'll have probably a handout developed that says kind of just basic do's and don'ts. It's a new school, please don't put a bunch of holes in the walls and void the warranty of the building. It's a new school, please don't open the windows. It's a brand new HVAC system. The HVAC system works best if the windows aren't open. They are operable, but if you need to, it works. It's a better system if they're not. Those types of things, just to help set expectations, Chip, with the staff before they move in.
If the windows are opened, is there like a notification system for that, or is that just
No.
that's just people like,
Yeah.
hey, just don't do it?
Don't do it, or like close it when you leave for the night, close it when you leave for the weekend, because the system is, you have AC now, you don't need to leave the windows open over the weekend, and obviously, though, no one can break in via the windows or get out that way, since they only open a certain amount, so.
Okay. So it's a please don't.
It's a please don't, if, one of the big things we heard from teachers is thermal comfort. If they want thermal comfort, it's best for long-term maintenance and for performance if the windows are kept closed. from
Most people have, most of our folks going to have, they live with AC. This is not a new technology that's coming to town, so their rooms are comfortable. They're not going to have a desire to open the window, and clearly unless it's a beautiful day, and that's an exceptional situation, and they can shut a window when they're done. We all have houses, so. Does anybody have any other questions, comments about any of the materials that we're seeing? What we would love, especially because you brought it all, but if it's possible to have certain samples, and especially for the color, because like this is very like, oh my God, what is that? And then when we see the paint, it's like, oh no, that's right.
Right.
So if we could have it available
Absolutely.
maybe for the school committee and the town council next couple meetings, just so that they can get their hands on it too.
Absolutely, yes. I can get you a set of all the paints and then the general floorings as well, so that you'll have those on record.
Perfect.
And the wood tone, that's important.
Awesome. Thank you. Yep.
So I think also, if you have time, to be able to create some more of a storyboard, typically with interior design, you'll have the old board and you'll say, this goes here, this goes there. It's great that you have the model and you kind of shuffling through the stuff, but to be a little bit more physical, seeing like an image, 1, 2, 3, 4, match up the materials, so when people pick it up, they can say, okay, this is the wall color, this is the floor color. So I think it would read better, and since that not everyone's going to have access to the model, right?
Right.
So it just-
Absolutely, yeah, we can create digital boards like that, and then we can put together physical boards as well, if that would be helpful. Yeah, we can do like a still shot of the rendering and point to what's in each space.
Thank you. Anybody have any other questions, comments, concerns, requests? All right. So thank you for that. Thank you for the speed at which we have wrapped the meeting. We are at item number 7, community comment. We have some community members, but I don't think you're here for us. So unless you are, no community members. All right, that brings us to item number 8, discussion action, next meeting and agenda items. So our next meeting is slotted for, and unless it's a problem, Thursday, October 30th.
It's the first and third Thursday, so it wouldn't be,
Are
unless
we
you want a
first and third?
special meeting.
Oh, nope. First and third. So then that brings us, I'm sorry, to November 6th. I personally will not be here, but I'm fairly comfortable in saying that my co-chair can run the meeting for me. But November 6th, we have a couple agenda.
Well, that's the community showcase night for the high school, so that's a tricky one because that's a big night in terms of, it's basically like the open house for.
Yeah.
So I definitely will not be here for that meeting because I got to be at that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then we'll make sure that anything in particular you want to make sure we hit around the Curtis Corner, especially about the Curtis Corner, just make sure you've already shared what
basically
you want.
voiced what
Something
Terry
comes
and I have
up.
been talking about.
Yep, just let me know. And so besides that, unless anybody has anything they want to end with, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
All right, thank you. We adjourn at 6:37.